What's up, Kitsunekon 2024? I am here with Bridget Hoffman, and I appreciate you taking, like I said, a couple minutes to chat with us about everything and ask you a couple questions. It's been a kind of a crazy convention for you so far.
Yes, it has. But I'm so happy to be here.
Yeah, overall though, the first 2 days has gone well for you, and
well, today was great, amazing. The first day was Friday, which was yesterday, right?
Yeah.
And today's Saturday, the second day. Friday, I got caught up in the worldwide,
like Microsoft
glitch, whatever it was, update glitch.
Everything crashed.
So it took me almost 24 hours to get here. So Friday, I left my house at 3 a.m. in Pasadena, California. And I got here at a little after 2 a.m.
Yeah.
The next day. So that was my yesterday.
Yeah. So the Friday was a rougher day.
But you know what? It's a miracle, and actually thanks to Cassie and the people here, that they could even find a flight because so many flights were canceled. Anyway, that's not what we're supposed to talk about.
Hey, sometimes you just gotta get off your chest. You're like, this happened on Friday.
Well, you asked me.
Yeah, no, that's fair. That's fair. Sometimes it's cathartic. You just get it out there, and you're like, travel, and then you.
We said it.
And then we can continue on. Obviously, you've done a lot of work, and you've done TV and movies, and you've done obviously like an anime and TV shows. Like you've done like stuff with like Initial D, Outlaw Star. You've done stuff with like we mentioned that like Demon Slayer and a lot of different stuff. And Digimon as well.
Yes.
Obviously, we had the Fonz were here last year, and we got a chance to talk to them and everything, and all like the Digimon, I guess like Digimon crew, since all three of them had worked.
Yeah, Melissa and Dorothy and Tom.
Yeah, all three of them were here, and we talked to them about like all the Digimon and stuff. And so we'll kind of like start kind of in that broad territory of like those early animes that you've been a part of have all at this point kind of reached that like, cult classic, so to speak.
Legacy.
Yeah. So yeah. Is it cool to kind of like when you come to these conventions to see how work that you did 20 years ago or like stand that test of time, or people who are who are clearly born after that point are like, when I grew up I started watching Outlaw Star and Initial D and Digimon and
right.
Like how's that kind of for you to see like the work you've done so long ago like still stand that test of like.
It's cool. It's, it's fire, man.
Yeah.
No, it's cool because, and I've just started doing cons kind of recently. Well, I did Matsuracon.
Okay.
In 16 or something like that?
Yeah.
Because they called me because they had a Groen Lagann panel, and I do Nia in that, and I have done her recently too for that. And, so I had not been part of the con thing, the circuit or whatever. So it's really, really fun for me. Anyway, I didn't know what to expect because for that very reason.
Right.
It's so long ago. People are crazy about certain things that I don't even know what they are because they're new.
Right.
And you're yawning. No. And so it is cool. I mean, I notice people of a certain age who said they grew up with some of the stuff I did early on. Yeah. And then some people who couldn't have grown up because they're younger and stuff, who are still into it or just finding it. And I think that is, because there's so much content now, how can they find that stuff, laying or,
it's so good. The work.
Yeah, so that is fun, It's fun to even think that anybody knew that work or appreciates it. That feels good. Feels really good.
No, that's awesome. Hey, did anime kind of like fall into your lap? Was it something that you wanted to pursue?
It kind of fell into my lap in a way. I've been acting, and I went to Los Angeles to act, and have made my living at it for all these years.
Right.
But I did auto shows or whatever, things like that too. But I did a lot of theater in Los Angeles, and I was doing a show at a theater that is now the Kodak, it's been torn down.
Oh, yeah.
And somebody came to see it. The woman I was in the show with worked in ADR.
Right.
And her boss came to see us and then started asking me to do that. other people, if just you get to know actors, and what are they doing to make a living and pay their bills, and somebody said, well, we're doing this anime, I'll recommend you for it because you'd be good. You recommend each other,
right?
And so it kind of, from that play, I met those people, and then I met those people, and all of a sudden, at that time, you'd get called. You were kind of kept pretty busy doing it.
Yeah.
So then we started. We worked for Yutaka Maseba, who was Zero Limits, and some of the early, not the very first. We worked on that too, but at this certain time, he started asking Wendy Lee and Leah Sargent and I to also direct things because they had a little more content. So we started directing, and then then Mary Elizabeth, people, there were all kinds of directors all over, but there seemed to be a little more content, but we didn't know it was going to turn into this.
Yeah.
It was cool. I don't know. I forgot what your question was.
No, you pretty much
I'm falling over on this.
No, it's cushy.
Yeah.
No, I think to your point, it's back then anime was the newer thing. Shows were out. Early Digimon, Pokemon, Dragon Ball Z, that kind of thing. But it wasn't like a mainstream thing.
No, nobody thought. I don't think anybody thought I'm going to go try to do anime as my job because we didn't grow up with anime. Exactly,
yeah. It's this newer thing that is now the cartoons of the early Saturday morning cartoon shows, Spider-Man and X-Men and all that kind of stuff was that was kind of the extent of what had been out there, and then now you're starting with Outlaw Star, Initial D, and all that stuff is coming out, and then now you fast forwarded to today where there's whole streaming services dedicated to just anime, which is awesome, and it's really cool to see. Are you kind of surprised with the amount of stuff people are bringing you to sign from past work?
I am. They bring beautiful things. There are people who are artists.
Yeah.
Who bring things that they've done. There are things figurines of characters that are not just Funko Pops or something that somebody.
Like a figure.
And I get a lot, and then I've only done a handful of these now, and I get. I'm surprised because I'm not surprised. Well, I am a little surprised that some of the darker things that I've done are the most seem to be very popular.
Yeah.
And I think it's good because they are. I mean, they're not dark just for the sake of being dark. They have
there's story, and character
and things they want to say, which are really ahead of their time.
Yeah.
Which is kind of fun.
Yeah.
I mean, do you know Lane? Do you know Perfect Blue? Those shows.
Yeah, Perfect Blue, I do.
Are very dark.
Yeah.
But they're about social media and how it can affect you and how people can say mean things to you, or they're about being so connected to just the computer that you lose human contact.
Yeah.
But these things we did 20-some years ago, and they were done in Japanese before that.
Right.
And they were written before that and drawn at that time, so long before there was even this kind of imprint of social media and computer integration, really.
Yeah.
That we're all so connected. In fact, that's one of Lane's lines, that it's really foreshadowing. I mean, the Japanese are very good about foreshadowing. To have done it back then and have it really be something that's happening now, and I actually kind of think that that's why it's happening now, is that the messages are kind of a warnings about social media dangers and losing yourself in a digital world or something,
Yeah, no, exactly.
Even though we're all in it, and
but it's one of those things where it's you have to gauge things kind of carefully sometimes.
And we're starting to learn that, I think, more.
Right. Yeah, exactly. And then speaking of digital worlds, obviously, you were a big part of Digimon.
Yeah.
Which is obviously its own insane, crazy franchise. Going into Digimon, is it harder to kind of get into a character when it's this, Digimon versus it's this. A person? Is it different?
It's different, but it's not harder, but it's different. I mean, they're all, that there's some people who do outrageous, big, outrageous things, but if you're doing characters that have these,
right,
like, human arcs, they still in anime,
oh,
they
yeah,
kind of go up, all over the place. But in things like Digimon, you can
right,
kind of just play,
yeah,
play, and everything, excuse me, everything is vocally different. So
right,
if you're doing high squeaky, animalistic things,
yeah, it's a little different.
It's just placement and
yeah,
whatever. So it is different, but it's
right. Yeah, just kind of like approach it in different ways and everything. Yeah,
just like any acting thing that you do.
Right. Yeah. No. Of course. Are there throughout your kind of the work that you've done, whether it's like been like TV or the shows that you've been a part of, are there characters that like you would love to be able to like revisit one day, like whether it's from like the voice standpoint or just like who the character was?
Well, that's a good question. It's been a while since I was those. I would like to, I got to be some pretty, like Belle Dandy.
Yeah.
I got to give a lot of beautiful messages in some of the wise, gentle characters I got to play.
Right.
Those are the ones I feel, that I feel happy about sharing.
Right, yeah.
But I also think when you get to be the villainess, like in, I've played a few villains, and you have to have a villain, and you have to have things like that too. So it's
the hero needs to be able to triumph, and you
need them.
Evil and good, and
so I don't know, not specifically. I love playing. I loved playing those more like Namie and Durarara and more less girlish.
Right.
Because I'm not as girlish as I used to be.
Right.
I can play it.
Right.
I can play it, but you don't want to watch me play it.
Right. Right.
You might not like that.
Yeah.
But so those are more complicated ones. I have a great job, so I like to be creative. I like to try to fit the pieces of the puzzle together that a director has, that the script has, and that the anime has, or the show has, whatever it is. I like to try to find ways to make it the best I can in the time that I get, and sometimes you don't get a lot of time.
Right.
But you just try, but
Yeah.
that's part of the puzzle.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. Well, sometimes life is going to throw you that curveball, and it's how you figure out that timing and.
Unless you're doing theater, where you have time to work on it, even as you're performing it.
Right.
Often we're called in and we don't have much time to work on it at all in advance.
Right.
And in television too, and in the post-production that I do. Sometimes they'll give us a week and we have to prepare things in advance. And sometimes it's like you go and you a lot of improvisation.
Yeah.
Improvisation.
That's good enough. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that makes a lot of sense. Obviously, like we'll make sure we wrap up, but are there like, is there like when you go back? Obviously like we mentioned like we will have kids before. Do your kids think you're cool yet, or do they kind of understand the?
I have one child, Wolfie. He's 22.
Okay.
He's turned 22, and he's starting to think I'm cool because of his friends. He has a friend. I don't know if I'm allowed to say his name, but his friend was huge Pokemon fan,
Okay.
right? And all his life, basically, and he is a coder.
Okay. Yep.
So an amazing coder. In fact, he's been a better coder than all his teachers. They went to high school together. They went to middle school together. He went to Princeton for one term.
Okay.
Got into Princeton, and I know it's because of his ability to code. I mean, he's a smart kid too.
Right.
Very smart. But after one semester, he got approached to do a game.
Oh.
Not a Pokemon franchise or anything like that, but a similar thing. I don't know nothing about it, so I shouldn't say.
You're fine.
But all I'm saying is that because he's my son's friend,
right,
and he's into this whole world of looking into things, you know, that it's now cool because those people are into it now.
Right, yeah, exactly.
You know what I'm
I get what you're saying. It's that connect, because things connect in different ways,
yeah,
and so it's those connections.
So all that's happening with his friends and those group of people, he's saying, oh yeah.
Pretty cool.
They think my mom's cool, so I might as well. I guess I have to think she's cool.
I can't disagree with all of my friends. I think my mom's cool. Like, God, I totally always thought she was cool. Totally my entire life.
My entire life. But there's no, dips in that.
No, never. No, they never do that to you. No, that's definitely never the case. Do you? I know, like obviously, like projects that are coming out. Generally, you can not talk about them for obvious reasons. But are there places that people who have followed your career and want to continue to do so can catch up with work that you're doing? Or
that's such a good question. Because I have never been part of any social media. I don't even have.
Good on you.
No, just over here. Whatever it's called now, I don't even say Facebook, but I don't have any of it. I never have.
So, yeah.
But somebody is going to help me, probably my nephew, to help me get on something so that people can follow me. So I don't have an answer to that.
Okay. But TBD, if they just keep.
Yeah, TBD.
Yeah.
How will they ever know? I mean, how will they know?
Well, if you Google your name every day, eventually. One day.
Okay, wait a couple months. And
eventually.
And you should Google my name. People say all kinds of things about it.
It's the dedication, if you want to find it, you gotta.
Eventually one day.
Eventually one day it'll pop up. You're like, I spent 6 months and here we go.
There must be a way, but I have to figure that out. Especially if I want to do, this, or if anybody ever wants to have me back or whatever.
Of course it'd be awesome. And then last question, we'll make sure you can get on your way here. Any final message you'd want to pass along to people that are seeing you at conventions or fans of yours, and just kind of that all-encompassing kind of thing?
I think you're awesome. I thank you for your attention, for your joy and appreciation. It means the world to me and to us. And go strong, be brave, be loyal, and be happy.
I like that. It's a good message. And with that, we will wrap up with Bridget, and I appreciate you taking the time to talk to us today.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.